Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take over as chair, and we're now going to move to the next item on our agenda, and this concerns energy supply and efficiency of energy supply at local and regional level. You have received document CG 2111 Res, and I'd like, first of all, as our first speaker, to give the floor to our rapporteur, Mrs. Svetlana Orlova, the Vice President of the Congress, and I'd like to ask her to present the report. She's also head of the Russian delegation. You have the floor.
Mr. Van Star, colleagues, we are grateful to the Bureau and all members of the Congress for the support of our initiative to have a discussion on energy supply. Of course, we are also very grateful to Gerard Maner, who with his program Cities for Energy Effectiveness has worked closely with me on the resolution and the memorandum. This is not the first time that we are having a discussion on energy supply and energy effectiveness. Climate change, energy are key issues for the work of local and regional authorities. We all well understand that against the backdrop of climate change, we are seeing increasing risks and threats to populations, not just when it comes to guaranteeing energy for everyday life, but when it comes to the security of energy supplies. Now, last time we had a debate on Japan. These are of concern to all Europeans, and they cast doubt on the future of nuclear energy in all countries, and currently discussion is underway on the search for alternative sources of energy. And these are issues which affect all countries. Now, it's clear that the model for the development of an energy system which exists at the present time has outlived itself, and it is essential that we protect the biosystems of Earth. Green industry and ecological economy have become real leaders, and local and regional authorities, including those in Russia, are playing an increasingly important role in guaranteeing energy supplies, in planning energy systems, guaranteeing a reliable energy supply. We are seeing new energy innovation, and we are confronted with the fact that energy use is going to increase. In line with the European Charter of Local Self-Government, local and regional authorities have to make a constructive contribution when it comes to the discussion on issues relating to energy infrastructure. This is in the interests of territories which are home to trans-European European infrastructure. The current challenge is to adapt national legislation so that it is adapted to the importance of energy efficiency, and that the powers are properly divided up between national, local and regional level. In Russia, for example, we have adapted our national legislation, introducing the law on energy efficiency and increased and guaranteeing energy supplies on heating supplies, on gas supplies and on natural monopolies. The constituent entities of the Russian Federation have all adapted programs on energy efficiency, and I can tell you that these are very diverse. We have pilot projects in 9 regions. These are Kaluga, Tver, Krasnodar, Tatarstan, Perm, Khanty-Mansiysk, Krasnoyar, Nizhny Novgorod, and Novgorod. We also have a pilot project called Energy Efficient Town, which is being implemented in Tyumen, Aptiti, Vorkuta and Kazan. Now, these are very valuable projects which are taking place in Russia, and we have invested a great deal of money in these projects. Now, the most important thing is, of course, that our citizens are informed about heating supplies and energy supplies, and that they are able to pay the bills. Now, we know there is a great deal of information available in Europe, and we have studied this in preparing our report. Now, there is a fund to support the economy and sustainable development, and also the Convention of Mayors. These are European initiatives which provide good examples on how to improve energy efficiency. Now, I remember 10 years ago there was a conference which I went to with my colleagues, and we had a discussion afterwards about how we can deal with these issues in Russia, and I can say that these really have become key issues for authorities at all levels throughout Russia. Now, my proposal would be that the Committee of Current Affairs should have access to a database with examples of good practice throughout Europe, and that we should have a dialogue with the Mayor's Convention on this issue, because it's really important that citizens are supplied with the necessary information. Now, of course, another important point is that our citizens are able to pay their heating bills, and this relates to issues to do with competitiveness between energy companies, promoting smaller energy companies. These are issues which are of concern in many European countries. In Germany, 17% of energy is generated from renewable resources, and currently nuclear energy provides a quarter of this. We are seeing a move away in Germany by 2018 from coal, and a great deal of money is being invested in developing renewable energies. Now, this is going to be a very expensive process. Now, Russia is a supplier of gas resources. Since 2000, there has been a strategic partnership in the energy sector between Russia and the European Union. According to the predictions of EU experts, by 2030, the EU will be importing 70% of its energy. For example, the import of oil will increase from 76% to 90%, gas from 40% to 70%, and coal from 50% to 70%. Now, there are, of course, several examples of very successful cooperation between Russia and the European Union. In November this year, President Medvedev and Angela Merkel will take part in the inauguration of the first feeder line of the North Stream. And this is a project which is being implemented with the most cutting-edge technology, and also taking into account the need to protect the environment. Now, we've developed also a roadmap for cooperation in the energy sphere between Russia and the EU by 2050. Nevertheless, there are a whole series of problems when it comes to cooperation and energy. For example, the Russian leadership have repeatedly emphasized the need to not politicize the energy dialogue. We know that our European partners need to diversify their energy supply, and they need to look around for other suppliers, and that it's important to diversify pipelines coming into Europe. In conclusion, I'd like to say that this issue is not just important, it is the issue of the day. We've got the draft resolution in front of us and the explanatory memorandum. I really hope that this draft resolution is not just a document for us in the Congress, but that it is a document which is used by all local and regional authorities. I am sure that if we pull together the great potential which there is in Russia and the financial opportunities which are available in Europe, we will be able to get ourselves on the right path for development when it comes to energy cooperation in this sphere at local and regional level can work to strengthen our partnerships for the benefit of all European citizens. So I would like to thank you for your attention and ask you to support the resolution and the explanatory memorandum. Thank you.
Ms. Orlova, thank you very much indeed for that statement. You have a great deal of knowledge about your subject, and of course you are making a huge contribution to the energy supply in Europe and the Russian Federation. So thank you very much indeed for that. Please take your seat once again, and I would now ask Yuri Centurin, who is the Secretary of State and Deputy Minister for Energy of the Russian Federation, to come to the rostrum to make his statement. He was previously the Deputy Chair of the Committee for Energy, Communications and Transport in the State Duma, in other words, the Russian Parliament, and I am very keen indeed to hear his views on these matters. The Russian Federation, of course, is the country which has the largest reserves of traditional sources of energy, such as gas and oil, but also Russia is an important source of renewable energy. So I would ask you, sir, to make your statement. Thank you.
President, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Minister for Energy of the Russian Federation, I would like to greet all members of the Congress and express our solidarity with today's debate in the Congress, and particularly as next year is the year of sustainable energy for everyone. Now, when you're talking about sustainable energy, well, a lot hangs on the policies which are in place in member states, and Russia is one of the leading energy suppliers. Energy policy in Russia makes use of the natural resources in our country and is working to aim to improve the economy of our country and to improve the life of citizens in Russia. And I would like to emphasize the importance of respecting our relations with our partners. In the last 5 years, the Russian Federation has developed a whole series of documents and programs, strategic programs aimed at the long-term development of the energy complex. Now, this is a legal strategy for the Russian Federation up to 2030, not just for the oil and the gas branch, but also looking for the long-term development of the coal industry and guaranteeing energy supply and promoting energy efficiency. The main areas of development are an innovative approach to new forms of energy and to making most of the energy resources and to creating a competitive energy energy market and integration into the international system. This plan cannot be implemented without an energy efficiency plan, and of course we entirely support the Congress's approach aimed at finding practical solutions to these problems, including local and regional authorities. Against the background of today's debate, of course, there are a whole series of events which go to focus how topical this issue is. First of these is the global financial crisis in 2008, and the second wave, which is yet to come, and the second is the accident at Fukushima, which had effects on the energy policy in a whole series of country. In Germany, there's a plan to phase out nuclear energy, and Italy is also moving away from nuclear energy. Discussions on energy independence are important, and we're also seeing an increase in demand for energy, and also seeing increasing prices for energy. In our opinion, this has led to issues which in the past were just discussed by experts, being discussed by society as a whole. Now we are talking about moving away from fossil fuels, finding sustainable energy for the future. In this context, in the standard setting and strategic documents which have been presented by the previous speaker, in the Russian Federation, we have taken a whole series of decisions to develop energy supplies and energy efficiency. I'm going to just go through these documents. The first is the development of small-scale energy generation to this aim up to 2020. The plan is in Russia to have 15% of energy, small-scale energy generation from heat power stations. The second, we have adopted a document in our parliament to improve energy efficiency. We have a plan up to 2020 for this. Now, in line with this document, the portion of energy, not including hydro energy, up to 2020, renewable energy should make up 4%. That's about 10%, 10 gigawatts, from renewable sources of energy. Now, the third point, which is a priority, is the development of energy efficiency, which is one of 5 priorities in the Russian Federation. Today, one of the most important areas for energy policy in Russia is the transfer away from a traditional centralized energy system to a diversified system, and the harmonious co-functioning of small-scale generation and large-scale generation. Now, small-scale power generation for the territories of the far north, far east, the Arctic, strategic important transport corridors, border regions, sparsely populated areas. That's 70% of the Russian Federation, where you have 20 million people. That's around 14% of the population of the Russian Federation. Currently in the Russian Federation, we have 50,000 small-scale power stations up and running. In 2010, small-scale power generation generated emitted around 12 gigawatts. That's around 24 billion kilowatt hours. So we are seeing real progress in the small-scale power generation in Russia. Now, when you're talking about improving energy efficiency, I think it's important to mention that Russia has a long-term plan for promoting energy efficiency, and it's really a very attractive area for foreign investment. I'd just like to present some points relating to this. Now, at the end of last year in Russia, we adopted a state program for energy supply and improving energy efficiency up until 2020. This program is an expensive program, that's already been said, but it has great prospects for the future. Now, we are going to be spending $20 billion in the first year, and this is going to increase, and all these funds are coming from the budget of the Russian Federation. Now we are looking to co-finance regional projects when it comes to energy efficiency. We're providing state guarantees for projects, energy efficient projects. The aim is to stimulate private investment from energy efficient companies in Russia. Our aim is to reduce energy use in Russia by 13%, and that is to say that we will save more than 950 million tons of fuel equivalent. Now, we have founded a special agency in Russia as part of the program, which is responsible for guaranteeing the implementation, and this agency works together closely with the regions. We're working to promote the sustainability of energy supplies, and we've also created a new energy supplies company, and the aim of this is to create the conditions for the creation of new energy companies and to work on regional plans. It's also going to look at import and export issues as well. We have also started working on a new financial mechanism for creating a market for energy efficient solutions. We have set up an energy finance agency alongside the Bank for Development and Economic Affairs. Now, the aim of this agency is to provide securities to energy companies in line with contracts which they have signed. We have also established a good infrastructure and the necessary instruments, created the necessary conditions for the active development of this sphere. Once again, I would like to thank you for the invitation to address the Congress today. This has provided us with an opportunity to present a whole series of issues which are very important for us today for long-term cooperation in energy supply and energy efficiency at local and regional level. In our opinion, this is an important basis for resolving those issues which I have outlined today. The recommendation which has been developed by the Congress is for the Ministry of Energy a very good document. So thank you very much for your attention.
Minister, thank you very much indeed for your presentation. We're slightly behind schedule. We have to finish soon, and I can let two speakers take the floor only. I'd like to ask the others to send their written contributions to room 1080, and then you will your positions will be taken on board. And you'll find them in the written proceedings. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Herpik from the Netherlands. Mr. Herpik, please.
You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to compliment Mrs. Svetlana Orlova for the good work that has been done. And also Sergei Shmatko, I was very impressed with your speech. Members of the Congress, the draft resolution is about the required energy transition to a renewable and decentralized power production that is efficiently used and which also has its focus on reducing the demand. And in the spirit of the proposals that we are discussing this day, this is exactly what the province I am representing, the province of Flevoland, including its municipalities and the water board, set out to achieve. It's interesting because my province is a very interesting experimental environment because we are the latest new territories of the Netherlands that we took from the sea. So we are not bothered by old-fashioned systems. We can build everything from scratch. And we work through setting up private partnerships with local enterprises. We set up institutions together with the citizens. We make it sustainable and bring the energy production back home again while strengthening the local and regional commitment and cohesion. We have the experience that it's not only agencies providing information and expertise for the energy transition that will dot the trick. A lean and mean utility should be set up by regional and local governments. The utility should develop and build real projects in a machine-like fashion, while safeguarding no knowledge and expertise is lost, but even brought to a higher level, requiring a modest return on investment, cooperation in joint ventures, and thus accelerating the pace of the energy transition significantly. These renewable energy and energy efficiency utilities must be rooted in local communities and initiatives, and yet they should be coordinated on a regional level, hence maximizing efficiency. Building strong relationships with local and regional financial institutions will be another key to success. Apart from renewable energy and energy efficiency, adequate and timely attention should be paid to making the grid smart, matching variable supply and demand intelligently. Cost effectiveness of measures should play a key role while financial resources are extremely scarce. Cost effectiveness now and projected cost effectiveness should be a decisive factor in shaping the energy transition. Best practices are important, though adequate attention for lessons learned, not making mistakes twice, is a key factor as well. Set stiff, committal yet realistic targets, including milestones for every 3 years. 2040, I believe, is definitely too far away to inspire to action here and now. Monitor the progress of these targets every year. In my province of Flevoland, this has proved to be one of the key success factors. We have a target of 60% for 2013, and we will reach that target. And we have set a target for 100% at 2020, which we will believe we will achieve. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Verbeek. I'd now like to give the floor to Mr. Dogan from Turkey. Mr. Dogan, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members. I would like to greet you with my deepest respects. Of course, we have to be very careful when generating and consuming energy, and we have to take a serious consideration of the environment as well as of the ecological balance. Turkey is a very big country, and we are using a variety of energy systems and we are trying to rapidly develop the existing energy varieties. I would like to dwell upon the environment-friendly use of energy, and I would like to give you some examples from my municipality. Izmit has a history of 3,000 years, and it has functioned as the Roman capital under the name of Nicomedia. We have a population of 65,000 students. We have a university, and we are trying to generate biodiesel from the waste oils from households. And this year we have added also solid fats into the scope of this project. We are going from one business place to another, and we are trying to create an awareness on the part of the school children for the collection of fats and oils, how they polish the water resources, and how it is useful if they are also used for energy production. For the last 2 years, we have generated our own biodiesel, and thereby we made a saving of 80%. Another point that I would like to underline is the following. Our parks, from 500 to 10,000 meters, we are trying to use systems that generate their own energy there. In 46 parks, we have established the solar energy systems, and the illumination of these parks are done through the use of solar energy. Obviously, we have to use new and renewable energy resources in order to increase the variety options. Therefore, we also added certain instruments that use natural gas for illumination in our parks. Thank you very much. I wanted to share with you this experience. Thank you for giving me the floor.
Let me give the floor to Mr. Skard from Norway, please.
I think the resolution and the explanatory memorandum stand very well on their own feet. I would like to thank the rapporteur for the work done and congratulate her on what she's given us. I have, on behalf of several of us, put forward a small addendum. It sounds like an amendment, but it really is a supplement. And our wish is to emphasize a point that is made in the explanatory memorandum. We need to get from planning to action, but the resources in local government sector are limited. And to make a difference, we will need a close cooperation with national level and also transfer of resources from the national state. In our opinion, this should be more explicitly reflected in general terms in the otherwise excellent resolution. It is mentioned in some paragraphs in the text, but we think we should highlight this in our resolution, so we have suggested a separate paragraph pointing this out. In the Bureau, there was raised a question about if we have secure, immediate and sufficient climate action. The word climate made some questions. We could take that word out, because what we want to emphasize is the need for action and the need for cooperation at national level and the need for funding, not least. Thank you. But I would like to ask the rapporteur if that would make a difference for her if we delete the word climate.
I will give the floor to one final speaker. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time for other questions. Let me now give the floor to Mr. Kametsyn from the Russian Federation, please. Mr. Kametsyn, you have the floor. Oh, he's not with us? Can I then ask the Minister? Oh, sorry, you are here. I beg your pardon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, President. Colleagues, I'm going to be brief. I also welcome this report, which has been presented so superbly today by the head of the Russian delegation, Svetlana Orlova. Now, the issue of this report is a practical one for all countries, not just those who are member states of the Council of Europe. Energy supply, energy efficiency, all these issues which have been presented today by the representative from the Russian Federation are important today, and they will be important in the future. The need to find sustainable energy systems at the same time respecting the environment. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this is one of the first reports to have been put together by the Current Affairs Committee, which was created following the reform of the Congress. And I'd like to emphasize to the Committee of Ministers that since its very first meeting, the members of this committee have been working very effectively. So we've got in front of us the resolution today, but in preparation for this we had a hearing in Yerevan in Armenia, and there we also discussed a range of very interesting issues and found support for the proposals in the memorandum and the resolution. I come from one of the regions of the Russian Federation which has considerable energy sources. We have oil, we have gas. But nevertheless, we have only limited supplies of gas, and already today we are thinking about the future and the need to move away from fossil fuels to more environmentally friendly energy resources. The programs which have been adopted in the regions of the Russian Federation are, of course, providing a framework for the radical modernization of this sector. And when it comes to gas supply and providing energy supplies to houses and Tatarstan, in recent years, we have improved energy efficiency by 40%. So I would like to once again congratulate the rapporteur and ask you to support the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Metzi. I'd like to ask the Minister Centurion if he would like to say anything in reply. In that case, can I ask Mrs. Orlova to draw her conclusions and also to give her position with regard to the amendments that have been tabled by Mr. Skard? The rapporteur has quite a key observation to make.
President, colleagues, now winter's coming, so I think this is the right time to be looking at a report such as this. We can have discussions here in this room, but it's the citizens who are dependent on energy supplies. They purchase products which need energy supply to create them. So this is a key issue. And as the colleague from Turkey said, there's no getting around the fact that this is an issue which we have to deal with, and the fact that we are confronted with more serious problems in the future. And we can only resolve these issues if we work together, if we invest in alternative energies. We need to discuss energy supply and energy efficiency. At the same time, we need to understand in Russia we have huge energy resources. We have oil, we have gas, but we understand that this is an issue which is a priority at local and regional level. Mr. Skard is correct. I support his amendment. This is a new paradigm. We have said this here today. The world is changing. We need to move forward so that the people who we represent support us. We need to adapt to the new situation. We don't want them to go out on the streets and have the feeling that they are being ignored. So we are modernizing, we are looking into new forms of energy generation. We've talked about small-scale power generation today, hydro energy. These are really key issues for us. I very much liked my colleague from Norway's approach and his presentation. Yes, we need an intelligent approach to this issue. He's entirely right. I would like to thank everyone who has spoken today for having supported this report. What's important now is that we don't just limit this resolution in the explanatory memorandum to the work of the committee. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the chair of the committee. What's important, though, is that we need to now carry out a monitoring procedure. We need to monitor the implementation of all of our documents, because if a decision is taken at national level, it's not. Decisions taken at regional and local levels are often ignored, and the important thing is it's here that people are living. It is mayors who have to deal with the everyday problems of our citizens. The voice of the people is not always heard. It's at local level where issues are resolved. Once again, colleagues, thank you very much. I think if we work together, we can move forward on this issue. This requires modernization, innovation, and of course, we need to protect the environment, and we need to guarantee energy supplies and to promote energy efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mrs. Orlova. Thank you to the entire Russian delegation as well. And Minister Zentulin, I'd like to thank you very much indeed, and I'd like to ask you to inform the Russian government that the Congress feels that active work should be carried out not only in this field, but more generally speaking, it is being carried out under the chairmanship of Mrs. Orlova and others, and that we attach a great deal of importance to this, and that's why we are very grateful for all the work being carried out by the Russian delegation in the Congress. We've now come to the